At Crown Point Realty, we believe in creating a real estate experience for our clients that is second to none. Educating and preparing our clients for what to expect is the best way to ensure we get you started in the right direction. As committed realtors, we are always on the go and always well caffeinated. We decided why not answer your real estate questions over a cup of coffee at some of our favorite spots. This is Coffee with Crown Point. Hey everybody, welcome back to Coffee with Crown Point this week. I'm Matt Farnham, I have John Kennedy back with us today. Hello. John is always full of surprises, so we don't know what he's going to say. We'll stay tuned for that. So hey, today we're talking to home buyers specifically and how to be successful in such a crazy competitive market. If you're looking for a home right now, you have experienced this. It's nuts out there. We have buyers tripping over each other to get in and out of properties. It's pretty crazy out there. So we want to really talk about two parts of this conversation. Number one, how to better position yourself before you start house shopping and things that you can do to be prepared to be the strongest buyer you can be. And then number two, once you've done that, how do we write a really competitive offer and be successful and actually get an offer accepted? So let's start there. So John, what are some things that a buyer can do to first position themselves to be the strongest buyer possible?
Well, one is really starting to put money away if you're preparing to buy a home, if you've got a plan in sight that you want to buy 6 months down the road, that you're really starting to save that money and realize that, this is going to go to purchase one of the biggest purchases of my life. And then also just being diligent with your funds. Don't go out and buy a whole bunch of crazy things before you actually buy the house. You got to have the house to put all the crazy things in. So that's really, and then just really touching base with the realtor, and touching base with the realtor to be able to get an idea where the market's at, so you can start to prepare the expectations of what you're going to need to do.
Get educated, before you start. And John had said something to me before. He was talking about, really understanding, getting real with yourself of what you have and maybe what you need to give up.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting real is just realizing, hey, in this market, I'm not going to get the best deal possible. I might have to come out with a little bit of cash above appraisal or a little bit of cash, write the best offer just from the get-go. We're seeing homes on the market from 1 to 4 days.
Right.
And you see them over the weekend and they're gone by Monday. Well, usually the ones that get that house are those people that have saved money, or they're talking to their families after they talk to the lender and say, hey, I can get a one-time gift and I can do this. But just having that expectation of, if I've got any extra cash lying around that I don't need to feed my family with, that's going towards the purchase of my home.
And we've seen clients trade in a fancy car for a less fancy car just to free up some cash. There's a lot of things you can do. Another thing is the lender partner. If you're not paying cash for a home, and of course most buyers aren't in that position, but having a lender partner who can add a lot of value to you as a buyer, but in a few things. Not only, the reputation is super important. So, I know when I'm working with a buyer, it's great to have lender partners that when we present the offer, that they're very reputable, they're respected, where the listing agent and seller can have a lot of confidence in the buyer's ability to perform, but also exploring like down payment assistance programs. There's something we call premium pricing. In this market right now, it's a challenge getting closing costs paid for buyers. There's some other creative things that we can always, talk with you about as well. But one thing lenders can do is they can do a little bit of a hike to the interest rate, not dramatic. So of course the payment goes up slightly, but they're able to give you a lender credit towards your closing costs to offset that, so you don't have to ask the seller for that help, which can make a big difference in getting your offer accepted.
Absolutely. And if they don't have that extra cash, it's really looking at homes that have been on the market for more than, say, 20 days. Because obviously there's something about that home that the people who have the cash, who have the excellent financing don't want. Those are really the golden nuggets for people who just can't come out of pocket with any money. You can look for listings that are undervalued, and that's where talking to a great realtor who's able to know where that market is for that neighborhood and asking a little bit above that list price and then asking for money towards closing. Those are always great offers to write. I've had many clients who I've talked to say, hey guys, we need to look at everything above 20 days on market. Right. And we've been able to get $5,500, $7,500 towards their closing, which is really just, you got to give up a little bit to get a lot. And in this market, you got to do whatever you can to get that house.
And right now, we've kind of transitioned to that part too, where once you're the strongest buyer you can be, because everybody's going to have their limitations there, how can I be creative, get an offer accepted? So that's a great idea he mentioned. And also those homes that have been on the market for a few weeks, maybe we can get closing costs, which is great, but sometimes that might just be the difference between even just getting an offer accepted for some buyers, depending on their total, financial picture, where it's tough to be successful sometimes when you're 5 or 7 offers you're competing with, depending on the qualification and everything. And some other tips that we can do to write a strong offer is really try and shorten those contingency periods. And this is where you need a really good realtor working with you that can protect you and make sure we can make all the chips line up in a timely fashion, but shorter due diligence period, to get your home inspections.
Right.
Working with a lender partner that you can have a little bit shorter appraisal contingencies or loan approvals. There's some risk there, so you need to make sure you work with partners who are going to perform and you have confidence in that. But those are some tips that you can do. Have the lender go to bat for you, where they're calling the listing agent as well, selling the transaction, saying how good of a buyer you are and how confident they are this is going to be the smoothest transaction that they've ever had in their life. Other things that we can do is the buyer can pay for minor things like HOA transfer fees and capital contribution fees, and don't ask for the home warranty in this market. Those little things right there might be the difference between you and the other couple buyers that help you win out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And John, you were talking about even TLC. Don't be afraid to.
Oh yeah. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty.
Right.
If there's a house that needs some paint, some carpet, people watch HGTV a lot, and I'll tell you what, that's not real life. And a lot of those prices that you hear on there, that's not normal. So really get an idea of, hey, what am I willing to spend to clean up a home? And then you get to think of it as a pride. Hey, I cleaned up my home. This is my home. I put my touches on it. Right. Change out the carpet. Change out the toilet. Change out a faucet. Paint a room.
Well, we can't change school zone. You can't change the lot location, but you can change just about everything else.
Yeah.
And like John said, a lot of times you can do this for a whole lot more manageable budget than you think you can.
Yeah.
You'd be really surprised. So, that's definitely something to think about. And then one other kind of side tip would be backup offers. That's an opportunity for a lot of buyers is once a home goes contingent, most agents out there and buyers, they don't look at it anymore. They lose interest.
Right.
Well, there could be an opportunity. If you threw 10 contingent offers out there and one of those fall out of escrow, you might have a position to be able to be the buyer that they move forward with if we're in that position. So that's another creative thing to think about. And then last thing, kind of bring it home is, John and I have talked about this a lot, but, share your perspective about, what home means.
To me, a lot of my buyers, when I sit down and I talk with them, I get an idea of what they are looking for. And I really get the sense that they're looking for a home to call home. They're not looking for a 2-year investment and they're going to sell it and flip it and get out of town. They're looking for a home. And to me, having a home, a sales price is irrelevant. As long as you're comfortable coming home to that place every night, spending the weekends there, mowing the lawn, hanging out in the backyard, as long as you're comfortable with that and making that payment and you're able to, and it's within your budget, then a price is irrelevant. You shouldn't be trying to get the best price on every house that you put an offer in on. You should be willing to go whatever you got to do to get that house. I have had some clients who've paid extra for a home, and they absolutely love it. I go over to their home now and I look out the backyard and see all of Las Vegas. And they're like, we got such a great house. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't the cheapest house on the market, and they didn't get it for a steal. They got the house that they wanted, that fit their needs, that fit their lifestyle, right. And they're happy. And happiness, you can't put a price tag on.
And I love that. And investors, completely opposite conversation. Yeah, we're talking ROI, numbers, of course, but yeah. This is where you create memories with your family. This is where you go to home every day. Yeah. So just make sure you love it. We're not saying be poor stewards and be irresponsible. That's not what we're saying. Yeah. But let's get you the home you want, and let's do what it takes to get it.
Absolutely.
So, and then finally, just I guess really bring it home is the game changer is work with amazing realtors that can juggle all this for you, put you in the best position to counsel you through the best way to position yourself, the best way to write an offer, the best way to communicate with the other party to get a successful outcome. So hope you got some value out of this. John, thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
And if you have any questions or comments, just please share those with us and share this with your friends and family. And we'll see you next week again on Coffee with Crown Point.
Do you have a question that you'd like to have answered? Feel free to submit a comment below, send us a message, or give us a call, and we will feature it in an upcoming episode.